Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
The old cowboy told this story. Ever since I was a child, I've always had a fear of somebody under my bed at night. So I went to a shrink and told him, I've got problems. Every time I go to bed, I think there's somebody under it. I'm scared. I think I'm going crazy. Just put yourself in my hands for 1 year, the shrink said. Come talk to me 3 times a week, and we should be able to get rid of those fears. The cowboy asked him, how much do you charge? $150 per visit, said the doctor. The cowboy replied, I'll sleep on it. Well, 6 months later, the doctor met the man on the street and said, why didn't you come back to me and see me about those fears you were having? Well, the cowboy said, $150 a visit, 3 times a week for a year, is $23,400. A bartender I know cured me for $10. I was so happy to have saved all that money, I went and bought a brand new pickup truck. Well, is that so? Said the shrink with a little bit of an attitude. He said, how, may I ask, did a bartender cure you? The cowboy said, he told me to cut the legs off the bed. Ain't nobody under there now. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, 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 morning. Oh, I love that song. Love that lady. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by a major sponsor, our dear friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and a great big spring tire sale going on right now. And of course all of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call and get on the route service, 734-6969. Let's go to the phone line and say good morning to our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
You again?
Yeah, I figured I'd do it on this kind of cold but nice morning.
Oh, come on. And it's Lunch Bunch Day today, too.
It is, so that'll be really exciting.
All right, go ahead with the pledge, please.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Attaboy, Wheels. See you at Lunch Bunch, buddy. And right now, let's go to the weather forecast.
It feels a lot like spring as we are moving through the week. Of course, that flood watch has been extended through today, and it's probably going to be extended through the weekend. Here is our weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side. High of about 64 today. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 36. Tomorrow, gorgeous as we get ready to kick off the weekend. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70 with an overnight low of 43. Saturday, pretty much the same. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
All right, Gina, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Right now, Merv May, come on in here.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, $1.31.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with sale time today at 11 a.m. Don't forget to call 678-9411 for cattle information on the sale, consignments. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Here's a partial list of some of the great cattle going through the ring, boys and girls. Lynn Shoddy of Blackfoot and also Burley bringing in 150 head of ripping good 750-pounders. Ted Tracy over at Elmo. Hello, Ted. 60 head of 650 to 700-pound cattle. Lance Westmoreland of Park Valley, Utah. 25 head of 400 to 500-pound cattle. Jared Schrenk, Declo. Hello, Jared. 70 head of 400 to 500-pounders. And Wade Prescott, the old bronc rider from Cary, bringing in 35 head of 400 to 500-pounders. And this is going to be a ripping good sale today, starting at 11 o'clock at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, $1.31, $1.32, $2.5, $3.5, $1.34, $4.5, $5.5, $1.30, $5.50, $1.35, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
No, man, I tell you what, Merv can do that chant. I love listening to him. Hey, now listen, I want to remind you, too, that we're going to have Lunch Bunch today. And I've been saying nothing's going to stop Lunch Bunch except heck or high water. We almost had the heck last night. I'll explain a little bit later. But anyhow, all systems are go. The rockets will lift off, and we will have Lunch Bunch today at 11:30. Don't miss it at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 Overland in Burley. And that's, of course, with really nice people and really good food. Oh, my goodness, like the sizzling skillet meals or all the different buttermilk pancake breakfast. Oh, yeah, it's going to be fantabulous, so we'll see you there. And we want to thank our gift certificate donors, and they include Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes, and also with Redneck Cup Holders, Doug Martin. Thank you very much. Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, today at 11:30. And Denny's got gift cards for us, too. Why did I not say that? Thank you, Deanna. I appreciate that. And gift cards from Denny's. We got all kinds of gift cards, as my wife comes in and reminds me. And, two, while we have just a minute, I want to remind you about Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Rita's going to be on the phone with us later on this morning at 9:30. And don't forget, all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. I don't care if you need just a single light bulb. They can help you all the way up to the big cooling and heating systems. They are the best. Call them at 678-0459. Open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. And they love visiting with you where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Really, really nice people. Okay, let me see where we're at here right now. I just can't believe this, and I want you to think about it, and it's purely my opinion. And if you think I'm wrong, I want you to call me and let me know. I don't want you to be embarrassed or inhibited. I want you to let me know if you think I'm wrong. The world demands us to do certain things. The world demands the United Nations and whomever. And our government caves into their pressure. Now, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong on this. Illegal aliens and non-citizens of this country, in many, many respects, have more rights to come here than we do as citizens to say no. Think about that. Everything seems geared, in my opinion, to help those that want to break the law and come across the border illegally. Oh, well, then we'll protect you, and if you have babies here, of course, we'll make sure that they're citizens, and we'll provide this, that, and the other, and colleges and universities will have a special fund set up for undocumented people, and then also the non-citizens, like what's happening with the Muslim countries, coming here and making demands. They have more rights to come here and demand being here than I do and you do as citizens that say, no, wait a minute. Enough is enough. Now, it's not PC, and some of the loons that live right here in this valley, many of which always have the great intestinal fortitude and courage to call me after the program and voice their displeasure with my remarks. Oh, they're brave people. Just really brave people. They will scream and holler, but I don't care at all. You know, now, right now I'm going to say this, and I mean it, and I know I'll take some heat from it, probably from the dingbats at the Times News and other places. But if Muslims in general are put on hold from those countries in the Middle East, from coming here for 120 days, so be it. I do not care. I do not care at all if they're inconvenienced. I want the vetting process to be 100% precise. I want to know if they've ever had athlete's foot or a hangnail. They should be fully scrutinized, and we can't because we do not have all the information. They don't have computer records, they don't have files, etc. I don't trust what's going on. And I'll guarantee you this is my attitude on this morning, and I want you to mull this over. I care much more about the police captain on Long Island, New York, that my wife and I met years ago, a year before 9/11. We became friends with him and his family, and on 9/11, he lost his son, who was a policeman in downtown New York. I care more about the kids in San Bernardino that are going to high school functions, games and proms and other activities without their moms and dads' support and smiles because they were butchered at a luncheon. This liberal simpleton judge in Hawaii from the Ninth Circuit Court, which has the combined brain capacity of a box of rocks, stopped the second travel ban. And it's all the more reason for us to fear for our safety because of these people that are in charge, supposedly. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 436. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I got broad shoulders. I can take it. If you agree with me, I'd like to hear your opinion. 436-2244. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody about Barry Equipment and Rental. Wheels, once again, if you're listening, real quick before I take that call. Yesterday I had you boost up the feed to me. I need you to back it down just a little bit. For some reason, the sound coming to me has really changed, and not much, just a skosh, which is a little bit more than a tad, but if you would, please, sir. Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. All your equipment to get the job done right, including the Walker mowers, 0% interest for 48 months. Mow your lawn like a pro. Oh, my. All the equipment rentals and retail equipment sales at Barry Equipment and Rental. Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30. You stop in or give them a call today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Zeb. This country's our country. We own the borders. We own the land in between, not the rest of the world. The rest of the world can come here if we allow it, period. And any sick judge that thinks they can change the rules of our country needs to be done away with. He should be put up on charges of treason, and he probably should be taken out and shot.
Well, I'm not going to go to the extent...
Probably not maybe.
No, I said, let me say this, Jerry. Let me jump in here. I'm not going to ever advocate a violent situation as far as people like these judges in the Ninth Circuit or anything else. But what I am going to say is this. The American opinion from the taxpayers that support this country and all the blood, sweat, and tears from our veterans for the many, many years and the many, many wars, our opinion should weigh first and foremost. I don't care about some illegal alien and his supposed rights that have been given or obtained by him and his family to come here. I don't care about non-citizens and their supposed rights. I'm more concerned about our rights. And when we say no, it should be no.
I agree 100%. It should be no. You know, part of our problem is we got involved in this horrible, despicable organization called the United Nations.
Yes.
I don't think it's ever done one thing good for our country. We just need to plain be out of that. We need to be thinking we're Americans. This is America. Let's protect America because it's the greatest, most wonderful country on the face of this earth. And, you know, everything comes right down to that simple fact. This is the greatest country that has ever been or ever will be. And I don't care if somebody else has another opinion somewhere else. They'll never change mine.
Jerry, I appreciate your comments as always. God bless you, man. Thank you for your call. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hopefully we'll see you at Lunch Bunch, buddy. Thanks.
Don't stub your toe coming into Denny's.
Okay, buddy. Thanks.
The Lord bless you and your whole audience.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. Caller number 2, hang on. I'll be right there, I promise. Don't you dare go away. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Oh, they can help you get back to being you. They know all the exercises. They know all the sports medicine. They got that hydrotherapy pool. They lower you in the pool. You go to exercise, and there's a treadmill. Oh, my, I love that thing. Nick Greenwell heads up all the physical therapists there, and they are, like I said, helping you get back to being you. Call for an appointment today, 678-1191. 678-1191, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Caller, thank you for your patience. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I was calling because you know, and I know, well, everybody kind of knows, that if this was turned about ways, if it was a Democratic, well, say, heaven forbid that Hillary Clinton's our president, and she put in a travel ban for all Christians coming in from other nations,
Yeah.
not one of these judges would say a word. And if they did, they would be drowned out, drummed out, disgraced, humiliated, and possibly even fired or pushed to resign. But yet, as the Republican Party or whatever, Trump's in office now because the left don't like him, anything he does is going to be blocked by the courts. And from what I thought, the last time this was brought up with his first travel ban, that it was mentioned that really the Ninth Circuit has no jurisdiction in this, that the President of the United States has the utmost authority or power to protect the citizens and the country of the United States, bar none.
Yeah.
If he feels that it's a threat, he has every right to protect us.
Absolutely.
Without any interjection from anybody.
Absolutely.
Unless I'm wrong on that, but that's the way I understood it.
You know, Riley, it has never been any Presbyterians, Lutherans, or Mormons that have caused a threat to this country. It has been the Islamic radical jihadists. It has been Muslims. And quite frankly, if they don't like that, that's too bad because those are the facts. And I'm sick and tired of catering to these people.
I 100% agree with you. You know me well enough to know how I feel about our great nation and the things that I have done and things I will do and will do in the future for it. But if we don't stand up as citizens and stand behind our president and get loud and boisterous, and sometimes I wonder if we ought to start acting like the snowflakes, only in reverse, saying, no, this is right, and we're not going to stand for you interjecting into our lives anymore. Are we going to have anything left?
It may come to that. Riley?
I am terrified to see what my 3-year-old daughter, my 15-year-old son, and my 11-year-old son are going to grow up into, because if we don't get a hold on it, it ain't going to be pretty, and I'm not going to go down without a fight. I'll take a couple of them with me if I need to.
Riley, I appreciate your call this morning. God bless you, man. Thanks.
You too.
And I think that attitude is one that really needs to be talked about. A lot of us, and I'll include myself, I am sick and tired of supposed rights. Somebody's got to explain this to me. How someone from another country, someone from another part of this world can actually, like I said in the opening statements, have more rights to come here, be it illegal or on a visa or a passport or whatever, than I do as a citizen that says, wait a minute, no, we're going to have a complete revetting system. We're going to have a complete study of what's going on and why it hasn't worked and why we've had some slippage through the system. 120 days, minimum. But these other folks and the United Nations, as it was brought up earlier by Jerry, they're telling us, the world is demanding to us. And to me, the United States should sit back in their easy chair, look them in the eye, and say, go sit down in the corner and shut up. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Don't forget our dear friend Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service at 438-2485. Remember that number. Now is a great time for Scott to give you landscaping ideas for your property going into the spring, and a super time to do all the tree trimming. Yes, it's time to get your fruit trees trimmed right now. Call the best, and that's Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 438-2485. And don't forget, too, if you're talking about putting sprinklers in or maybe need sprinkler repair before this spring, you better call them, 438-2485, Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Caller, good morning. Thank you. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. You know, our own government has given these people, these invaders, the right to determine my fate and your fate.
Yep.
Now, if we ever tried that in another country, we'd be slammed.
You'd better believe it.
These people are coming into this country. They're being rewarded with all the benefits that you and I as Americans are not entitled to.
Tony, you know, why not? Why do people, politicians and others on the radio, television, and even writers in the newspaper, why do they jump around and hedge on this issue? I'm going to come right out and say, I don't care. Okay, now listen, folks, make a quote from me if you want to. I don't care. I don't care about anybody in another country over the protection and the benefit of our own citizens in this country that are taxpayers and God-fearing Americans. I never, ever will put anyone else first. Do you think I'm wrong on that?
No, you're not wrong on that. These people are allowed to come into this country, multiply, and 10 to 20 years down the road, they're going to vote every American out of office,
yes,
and they will have our country.
I agree. I can't argue with that. I'm very bitter about what's going on.
That's what I see happening here.
Yeah.
And unless we put a strict control on who's coming into our country, and I don't care whose feelings are hurt about this. This is our country. People that came in from Europe and other countries years ago didn't go on welfare. They came over here to work and make the country great. Not these other people.
That's right, Tony.
Flooding into this country, taking all our benefits. Many of them will have so much welfare coming in because they have so many kids that they won't have to do a day's work again in their life.
Yeah. This boo-hoo, wah-wah BS that's being imposed on us by other countries and the United Nations. in particular is absolute garbage. As long as I have this program on the air and the lefty liberals that live here, these loons that have the IQ of a bicycle spoke, I'm going to keep fighting for us, the citizens that pay the taxes and are the main machinery that keep the United States going.
You're right, Zeb, and I hope that there's enough of us taxpayers left to pay the welfare bill for these people that are pouring into our country.
I wish there wasn't. I wish the welfare system would almost dry up. I wish that the welfare system would absolutely scrutinize and pick out the ones that absolutely need the help and throw the other ones out like garbage because they are leeches on the system.
Well, the way the system is now, I think the welfare system should be taxed like ordinary income like the rest of us, because when I go to my local market and I see these people pulling out their welfare cards and driving away in brand new vehicles, something's wrong.
I could not agree with you more. My dear friend, have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. He's 100% right. Don't forget, if you're having some hearing problems, the lovely lady Dr. Christine Pickup, oh, does she know hearing and does she know sound? I have been so impressed with the many, many times I've talked to her. She knows all about the different problems that can happen and what triggers perhaps hearing problems and how to cure it and solve it and get you back to where you don't have to go, what'd he say? Well, I'll tell you what, it might be related to your health. It might be related to something with your medications, any number of things. Call Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Make an appointment today at 312-0957. They're located right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. All right, caller, you're on the air. I'm all wrapped up. You go. You take it.
Okay, Zeb, your last caller's brought up a good point that I've been wondering for a very long time. How does somebody who's on welfare who don't pay taxes get a big tax return? How does that work?
There are
I'll leave it at that, because that's a question for the centuries.
Yeah, I know it. And you and I sit back and we try to do things legal. We try to do things in the right vein. We get a hold of our tax preparers and we go, oh my goodness, we got to dot the I's and cross the T's. We've worked hard, and then all of a sudden, after they figure out what the taxes are for a fiscal year, bam, we get hit right in the face with a great big tax bill because we're God-fearing, tax-paying Americans. And then, like I said a moment ago, Riley, the leeches in our system are running rampant, and nobody is putting safeguards on the system to make sure that their numbers do not increase.
You know, my thing about taxes is I live here and I support my country 100%. And I do not mind paying my fair share to help keep our country going. Our roads maintained. Unfortunately, politics is a necessary evil in a way. I don't mind that, but I sure as heck, it really irritates me when I go to the grocery store and I work 18-hour days sometimes to make ends meet at two different jobs, and I go in there doing the calculator punch to make sure that we can budget for our budget works out for us, and see people in front of me with 2 cartloads of crap, paying with the EBT card and going out and getting a 2 or 3 year old car when I'm driving one that's over 20 years old. That frustrates the holy. It makes me kind of anxious.
Well, it should, and I've had the same occurrence happen to us. I've said this story so many times on the air. I'll relate it one more time very briefly. It's been about, I can't remember how many years ago, Deanna and I were at the grocery store. I had just finished working out some horses, and I was not too cleaned up. And we went in the grocery store to get some things, and we were behind another couple. The man had on a 3-piece suit, wingtip shoes, looked very professional. Good for him. The lady was dressed in a very nice dress, and they paid for their groceries and food stamps and went out the door and got into a brand new Mustang. Something is wrong with this picture, Riley.
There is, and I know for a fact in this area there are people who sell their food stamp cards for cash, 50 cents on the dollar, so they can go get alcohol, tattoos, or whatever, you know, and you report it, and it gets swept under the rug.
Yeah.
But the really thing that gets me is now with the Obamacare coming into effect, our health insurance, this is another thing that takes out of my paycheck to support my family, which I have to pay because it's a tax. And yet there are people getting $4,000 or $5,000 a month on food stamp cards for their kids and them. I'm glad kids are eating, don't get me wrong. But, you know, they need to put forth some effort.
Yeah.
Like I said, since when, if you don't contribute, you get a tax return?
I have said for a long time on this program, people can go back in the archives of the tapes, and I've said it so many times, that city by city, county by county, through the states, we need to have a complete study. I don't care. I'd rather spend the money on somebody going through each file, case by case, and seeing who really is qualified to receive welfare and who is not. Throw the chaff out and let them learn personal responsibility and go to work.
I agree. And in the meantime, at least a minimum hour a week per work doing community service to earn that.
Absolutely.
We earned it so they could live. Now they need to earn it so they can have it.
Absolutely.
I'll let you go. I gotta go.
All right, Riley. Thank you. Appreciate it. Calls welcome 436-2244 1-866-927-4587. But going back to the original concept of what we started talking about here this morning, honestly, think about this. And I don't care if it's different associations with agriculture. I don't care who it is. I don't care. We do provide. And I don't understand this as to why rights to illegal aliens and non-citizens over and above the opinion of citizens that say no. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, don't forget, caller, I'll be right there. Southern Idaho Women's Expo, sponsored by the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce and Idaho Central Credit Union and Idaho Housing and Finance. It's coming up on April 13th at the Best Western Burley Inn in Burley. And businesses, this is a great, fantabulous place for you to have your business booth and tell everybody about your business. Gonna be great. 679-4793. 679-4793 for booth registration. You call today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi there.
You know, I have, pardon me, a whole ton of admiration for people who have been on food stamps and so forth, who have used them, who have been careful and pulled themselves up and have worked and become supportive citizens of our country because they really wanted to do it. They weren't out just for the welfare, and they have used it the right way. And they've come up to be really, really good supporters, you know, with the taxes and everything. But so many people are on that system just to be on that system because it's so much easier, supposedly.
Linda.
And I just hate it. And I don't like to see people coming into our country that get so much more benefit, and we pay for it.
Bingo. You know, Linda, I'm not going to talk about you. I'm not going to talk about me. I'm going to talk about, in general, people that get up in the morning. They go to work. They do the best they can on a budgetary income to make sure that they buy the shoes, buy the groceries, take the kids to different events, soccer games, Little League Baseball, whatever. They do the best they can. But yet those people that are on welfare, those people that come here, are afforded gratuities that you and I, our neighbors, the lunch bunchers, etc., we're not going to get because we don't qualify.
Yeah. And we would work for those things.
Yep.
The ones we have worked for.
Absolutely.
And I think, honestly, we are better off than the ones who never do use it the right way. We have the character that is needed.
Well, I want to go back. You're a very, very smart lady, and I've always admired you and your great singing ability and everything. But I made the statement earlier, and I want to see if you agree or disagree. And if you disagree, I'll take that and study it. But I said this earlier, and I want your opinion. I said that the world demands The United Nations and the world demands, and our government caves in to their pressure, and we allow more freedoms, more rights, and more of our money to go to illegal aliens and non-citizens than we have as citizens to say enough is enough.
Well, it seems like things are changing, doesn't it? That people do, I think that there is a time to give and help others. But there is also a passage, and I'd have to go back and look for it, in which St. Paul said, you need to eat and you need to work. If you don't work, you don't eat.
That's right.
About the members of the Christian
That's
community.
right.
They must have had some people sloughing off.
That's right.
And he said, be quiet and eat your own food.
There you go. Linda, I hope you're going to be at Lunch Bunch so you can sing.
Yes, I will.
Oh, God bless you.
I do think they demand something from us. The world is demanding the wrong things. But remember, there was a time when we were told that the other countries were saying, United States, don't give in, don't fall, that they were looking to us to lead and keep the standard. And it isn't all that many months ago that we heard that.
Absolutely. I got to run, Linda, but thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away, I promise. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center. I want to talk about these great folks. Now, this is something that everybody should know about for your moms, your dads, your grandpas, your grandmas. Locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cache area, the only assisted living facility located in Rupert. Remember the name and call them. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. And the number to talk to these very nice people, 436-3200. They provide one-on-one care, and they really take care and pride in treating their residents of Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center with all the caring and love and devotion, taking them to various projects, and they've got a beautiful patio in the backyard, hold outside barbecues. They want you to come by and visit with them. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb. I want to talk to you a little bit about my pet peeve.
Okay.
And that's property taxes. My husband has worked his whole life. We've paid all the taxes that we have to pay. Income, state, property, whatever taxes they have that they can tax you with. And yet, he's 75 years old now, and he's got 2 artificial hips, an artificial knee, aneurysms, and yet we have to hang on to every single thing that we can hang on to prove that he has these problems in order to get a tax reduction on our property tax. I think when a person gets to be 70, 75 years old, they should automatically be given those tax reductions instead of having to hang on to every scrap of paper to prove that you've got all those problems.
I would say this, and God bless you and your husband, and hang in there. But I've said for a long time, and I don't mean to sound negative, but it's a fact. Those of us that are getting a little grayer and a little long in the tooth, they don't care about it anymore. We are living in basically a hemlock society in this United States to where they'll take the money out of Social Security or they'll take the money out of Medicare, and the devil be damned. And I'm sick and tired of the way our seniors get treated, because now I am one. And I guarantee you I'm going to keep fighting for seniors and the respect that they deserve.
Well, I think we need to, because it's just not right.
God bless you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. You're a very nice lady. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. Caught me with a mouthful of coffee.
Well, at least you have some. All I've got is a doggone old glass of water here.
Well, that's good for you.
Okay.
Keeps the kidneys working.
That's TMI. Too much information.
Yeah, this judge in Hawaii, I mean, we need to clean house.
I don't think, Doug, honestly, there is a broom or dustpan big enough. When I listen to these silly liberals, and you know, Doug, back up just for a minute. I am not going to ever hedge on my feelings on this program. I don't care if some newspaper editor in Twin is offended. I don't care if some silly little mayor in Twin Falls he's offended by comments I make. I don't care if the CSI Refugee Center is offended by my comments. I'm going to stand up for the bulk of us that are tax-paying citizens that are saying no.
I'm standing right there beside you. I mean, it's ridiculous, and our rights do not end where their feelings begin. And the sooner they learn that, the better off they're going to be in life. Because I'm with you, and I feel that everybody should just, if you're for keeping this country safe and building a border to keep that 13 gang out,
MS-13, yeah,
illegals out. You know, let them come in, but let them come in through the front door, and let them come here to be Americans.
Yeah, but
not to come here to establish their little villages and their little towns. So it's like their old country. If they like their old country that damn much, stay at your own place.
Yeah, but let's go back to the original problem here. You know, because you study the news, you know what's going on, that illegal aliens and non-citizens in this country have more gratuity rights extended to them than you and I as taxpayers have the right to say no. Isn't that true or not?
That's a fact. And anybody says that, if you're illegal, you can't get welfare, you can't, get all this government assistance, that is bullcrap.
Yeah.
Because I know as a fact, you can go in and apply for welfare. You do not have to show an ID. You tell them your name, and they have to accept that. You tell them you're a resident or a citizen of the U.S., they have to accept that. You do not have to prove anything. And you are given, because they've said if you ask for proof, you're discriminating.
Yeah. Don't wave that flag in front of this old German's nose. Hey, Doug, I've got to get a weather forecast. You know I'm running late right now, and then I got another call. But please, I hope you're going to be at Lunch Bunch.
Yes, I am. I'm going to do my dangest.
All right, buddy.
I'm at least going to drop off a couple cup holders.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And remember, everybody, let's take care of our senior centers.
Amen. Amen.
Everybody join and donate if you can. Do what you can to help them.
All right, Doug. Thank you very, very much. Caller number 2 now. You stay there. Just rest for a second. I'll be right there, I promise. I got to do a quick weather forecast brought to everybody by the Urgent Cares. Excuse me, Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls. And Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. They care with Major Care. Absolutely. They're open 7 days a week, and they'll take care of your flu bugs and your sinus problems, and maybe you got a cut or a sprain or a strain. Hey, I'm telling you, minor emergencies, Major Care. Here's the weather.
It feels a lot like spring as we are moving through the week. Of course, that flood watch has been extended through today, and it's probably going to be extended through the weekend. Here is our weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side. High of about 64 today. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 36. Tomorrow, gorgeous as we get ready to kick off the weekend. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70 with an overnight low of 43. Saturday, pretty much the same. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70. That is your weather. For Zeb at the Ranch.
Thanks, Gina. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care in Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Oh, it's true. Kyle James and his staff, minor emergencies, Major Care. Caller, good morning. Thank you for your patience. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Well, there's a more sinister plan behind all of this to ruin our culture, ruin our economy, bring all these illegals, aliens, and so forth in here, and that's to make us a third world country. That's been the goal for decades, actually before you and I were born. and to bring this country down to third world status in order so that we can fit into a global new world order, if you want to use that term, under like the United Nations. Of course, it failed. The League of Nations failed because Americans were wise to it. And then we had another war to convince us that we had to have the United Nations. It's been controlled by communists and socialists since its inception. And there's elitists like George Soros and so forth that, have been trying to bring this country down. And what better way to do it is to ruin our culture, ruin our economy. Now we're $20 trillion in debt. And believe me, that's hanging like a death nail over this country. We can't ignore that. But clear back in the 50s, H. Roland Gaither was interviewed by Norman Dodds of the Reese Committee of the House, and even then he said that the agenda was to make life in this country be able to merge with third world countries.
Yeah.
And so that's been the Sinister agenda. And of course, bringing all these people in there, get them on welfare, they vote Democrat, so we get more government, we get less freedom. But we've got a breath of fresh air now, folks. Let's take advantage of it. And regardless of what your feelings about Trump, this day, they're encouraging people nationwide to send a postcard supporting Trump. Put it in the mail today or tomorrow, whenever. And you can't send a letter because it takes weeks to get through the processing now with a letter. But a postcard can get there really quite right.
Okay, Adrian.
Goes right through.
All right, Adrian, quickly, Adrian, wait a minute. Let me talk a little bit. What's the address quickly to send that postcard to? Do you have it in front of you?
I do. It's President Donald J. Trump, in care of the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, NW.
Okay. All right.
And Washington, D.C., 20500.
Okay.
2050.
I've got to run, but I want you to, I'm going to highlight that again later on this morning, but I thank you very much for that information. I got another commercial and call. Thank you, Adrian. God bless you, man. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sir. All right. He's right. God bless America. We need all the help we can get right now, particularly right now, when it seems like, and it's true, the leftist forces of evil. That's what they are. Call it what it is. They're evil. Trying to take over everything in this country, and for that matter, the entire world. Let's not forget a big spring tire sale at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We're doing the right thing always matters to them, and service to you reigns supreme. They've got the best of tires on sale. Oh, like for your passenger cars, that Ultra Z900, ultimate in tire technology, and up to, depending on how you drive, 80,000-mile warranty. Wow, that is a tire. And it's on sale right now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with the best in brake service and front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. But there again, I go back to the best in service. They really take care of you at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Couple of quick notes here. Tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, everything will be green, green, green. And starting today, even though it did start in the last 2 nights, the Final Four, March Madness, today and for the next 2 weeks, if you're a basketball junkie, a collegiate basketball junkie like I am, it's going to be great watching the games, and all the times are posted. It's going to be fun. And let's see, what else have I got here real quick? By the way, this is really important to get out there. We'll take the call, and then I'll mention this next hour. Caller, quickly, I have 1 minute. Go ahead, please.
This will just take a minute. Tomorrow's my lovely bride's and my 4th anniversary.
No kidding.
And I want to wish her a happy anniversary.
What is her first name so all the world can go, oh, those lovebirds?
Crystal.
Okay. And where is she right now?
Probably at work or on the highway going to Twin Falls. She might be listening.
She might. Wait a minute. On my program, all my callers say, yes, definitely they're listening.
Yes, definitely. Okay. I didn't get that memo, but I'll make a note of it.
That's worth a redneck cup holder. Anyway, God bless you on your 4th anniversary. My goodness, and certainly you're going to go buy diamonds and dinner and everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thought was there. Okay. Doug, God bless you, man. Happy anniversary.
Buddy.
All right, take care. Oh, my goodness, we got to take a little break here, and CBS News is going to come in and destroy everything we had going. And we'll be back in about 6 or 7 minutes. We're going to come back with the Chamber Report with Kyla, and then we've been trying to get a hold of Doreen McMurray. Doreen, if you're out there in Radio Land someplace, call me and my cell phone at 312-2976. I was going to get her on the air about 9:15 to talk about trees, and we can't find her. Anyway, we'll be back in about 7 minutes. Don't go away. You know, it wouldn't bother me at all if Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke, would kind of take a great big baseball bat, a Hillary Bradsby baseball bat, and just really drilled some sense into some of those legislators, the way they conduct themselves during the session. Some, not all. Hey, by the way, Zev at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and a big spring tire sale going on, and also some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Western Waste Services, and the 4 words that really sum it up. Always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. You know, I absolutely can say without any reservations that the garbage pickup once a week is absolutely the most efficient, and they are so on time, you could almost set your watch by these great folks, and then your garbage is gone. It is out of there. I'm telling you, call. Please get rid of your garbage. You don't want it. They take it, and they'll get rid of it. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. By the way, as we hear phones ringing in the background, don't forget our dear, dear friends, and they are, over at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, number to put on your refrigerator or on the dash of your pickup, 678-1177. 678-1177. They have warm hearts for cold noses. That's right, it's a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them all and keep them healthy. Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, the whole crew, they are good. Really good folks. Ark Animal Hospital. Number to call again, 678-1177. They really care. Warm hearts for cold noses. Okay, let's go to the phone line right now, and we have a wonderful lady on the other. You know, I'm always a little gun-shy at this time when I go over to the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, because normally what happens, I'll say, here's the wonderful director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, Kyla, and then it will not be Kyla. So let's kind of see who is there. Good morning.
Good morning, it's me, Zev. How are you this morning?
I am fantabulous, and the days are drawing closer to April 13th for your great big Southern Idaho Women's Expo. How are things shaping up?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we are possibly going to try to expand even how many vendors are at it this year. So booth spaces are filling fast. And if you would like a booth space, I encourage you really to call 679-4793. We had, I think, about 51 booths last year. We might have to be able to expand to 55. That's about it, though, because we just run out of room, and that's how it goes. But we're very excited. And then tickets are also on sale. So pre-sale tickets, you get a $10 discount, $20. At the door, they're going to be $30. So really just call us or stop in today, or, call us and reserve your tickets, especially if you're bringing some people from your office. Just let us know. That will be great. But yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, let me ask you this, Kyla. What would you say, honestly, is the main theme or the main reason that people should attend the Southern Idaho Women's Expo?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that the theme this year, first of all, is the places you'll go, which is kind of taking off Dr. Seuss a little bit, and we're having some fun with that. But mainly we are marketing to two folks. So we've got women and, lots of folks who are coming in to see all the vendors, and they want to be inspired by new things to try and new places to visit, new companies to do business with, and maybe even some personal information for themselves. So that's why we have such a mix of vendors as well as keynote speakers to talk with everyone who gets a ticket and comes on in, plus lunch is served. And then the other reason is a lot of vendors love this event, I'm told, because let's be honest, let's be completely honest here, Zeb, 70 to 80% of purchases in everyone's home are typically made by a woman, the female, and that there's data out there to prove that. It's been in Forbes magazine. So really a lot of folks, when they approach, how am I going to market to women, what's the first thing they do?
Absolutely.
They do some things, they just say, well, we'll just make it all pink, and pink is not really a marketing strategy. And so, really you have to approach when you're marketing women a little bit differently than men. They expect better customer service. So if you increase your customer service, then really you're increasing your customer service for everyone, not just, women, but also for men that you serve too. So I'm told by a lot of vendors they love this event because really they approach, marketing to women almost as entering a foreign market, that they've really got to spread their wings and try new things, and they love to see what they're going to pick up and buy.
I would have thought, and I'm not trying to be gratuitous to you, I'm just being honest, looking at my situation here with my lovely wife, Deanne, I would have thought that number, percentage-wise, of purchases for the home, etc., would have been up close to 90% by women, because I'll tell you what, in my case, A, I hate to shop, B, I hate to shop, and C, I hate to shop.
Yes, and you know what, honestly, that number could be, that's from 2015, it was at 70 to 80%. And I think the other thing, too, a lot of vendors and a lot of businesses out there realize now is don't let that name on the credit card fool you. The name on the credit card may say John Smith, and he's coming in to purchase that, but 9 times out of 10, there was a female that put the bug in the ear that said, yeah, we ought to pull the trigger on this purchase and make it happen.
I agree. So, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yes.
And quickly, while I've still got some time left, you've got some high-class, high-quality people that are going to speak there, too.
Yes, we do. So we have Drs. North and Higgins from Kasia Regional Hospital. They will be starting things off at 10 o'clock. Our doors open at 9 on the 13th, but they start at 10, talking about women's health issues, special to women. And then at noon, our keynote speaker is Idaho Supreme Court Justice Robin Brody, who is from this area. She'll be talking about a lot of things in terms of her position and also women in jobs and other things in this area. And then lastly, we're going to end it off on a really fun note with comedian Susan Rice. And a lot of people have asked me, who is Susan Rice? She has performed for McCain's. She has performed for a lot of businesses around here, and people love her. So she's going to be a lot of fun. I can promise you that.
Well, now, I don't want to overshadow everything else with the Women's Expo, but now, are there any other activities that are coming up after that or prior to that you want to highlight quickly? I got about 2 minutes left.
Okay, here we go. So real quickly, just wanted to let you know this weekend, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer going on over at Howell's Opera House in Oakley. Lots of folks are celebrating St. Patrick's Day tomorrow.
Yes.
And that's really what I can tell you. If you can't find corned beef and cabbage, it's your own fault, because I think everybody is serving it somewhere at a church near you. So just check it out. And then lastly, I would like to just throw in there, we are taking reservations for the Scramble for Commerce golf tournament that comes up on June 21st. Teams fill fast, so just give us a call, 679-4793.
Wow, you did that very efficiently. But once again, Booth Space, why don't you amplify the fact that Booth Space, great place for businesses to really talk about their business and tell people what they do at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo, the number, the times you're open, all of this so they can call and get organized.
All right, we're open today and almost every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And you can call us at 679-4793. We would love to have your business there. There's just all kinds of businesses for men and women that are going to be at this expo. And yes, men do come to it too. I just want to squash that rumor. So It's going to be fun.
Kyla, you always are so easy to talk to. Thank you. God bless you at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and we'll keep plugging the Southern Idaho Women's Expo on April 13th. Thank you much. Have a great week. Oh, by the way, give us all the thousands of ways people can contact the Chamber.
All right, 679-4793. Get online at minicasiachamber.com or just give us an email here. You can email Jackie at minicasiachamber.com.
All right, Kyla. Talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zeb. Take care.
Take care. Thank you. Nice lady right there. Really appreciate her. By the way, every day on my program for years and years, I want to say thank you, and I do, to Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. You know, there are no such things on my program as old shoes. In other words, I just kind of brush them, well, here's a customary ad or something like that. No. Every day is a new way to tell you that you, when there's a passing of a loved one, need to call these people and help. They can help you with all the arrangements. Always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. They really take care of you and your family. They can travel to the rural towns and churches, and again, helping you with all the arrangements. Please remember the name and the number. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving you. Oh, my goodness sake. We've got to get to the phone line real quick because there is a lady. She's not a complete stranger to this program. I think she's been on the microphone a time or two in the past. Well, good morning, Sharon Hardy Mills. How are you? Wheels, is she there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you there?
Well, sometimes Wheels, I think maybe he was talking to somebody on the phone and forgot to turn us all up. But here we go. Good morning, Sharon Hardy Mills.
I hear you.
Okay. Well, now, what are you doing connected with trees and shrubs and all kinds of things that grow?
I work for the Minidoka Soil and Water Conservation District, and we do a tree sale every spring to help people with windbreaks and or actually improving habitat and home energy conservation.
Okay, now, so you work for the Minidoka Soil and Water Conservation District, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, are there two different businesses, if you will? Does Cassia County also have the same type?
Yep, we have an East and a West Cassia County Soil Conservation District, and then we have a Minidoka Soil and Water Conservation District. Okay, so basically right now, both of them are really concerned about seedling orders for trees, right? Yes, we are. The three districts go together, and we do soil conservation seedling tree sale every year. And this year, the trees that we still have available for people to purchase are Lombardy poplar, Colorado spruce, Rocky Mountain juniper, the common purple lilac, a golden currant. We have two of the rhodosier dogwood, and then we still have some choke cherries.
Wow. Well, hey, who's ever in the background talking, tell them, shh, be quiet, I'm on the radio.
We're trying to do a budget meeting besides.
Okay. Listen, I can tell you that I've always, in years past, have bought trees during this event, and I bought some poplar trees, I don't know, about 5-6 years ago. Holy buckets, they're like 9,000 feet tall already.
I know, they grow really nicely, don't they?
Yes, they do. Now, what are the costs, and where do they go? What do they do?
They can fill out an order form here at any of the offices, any of the 3 offices. Our office here in Rupert is across the street from the Rupert Elks. It's the white brick building. The one in Burley is across the street from Rasmussen's Funeral Home, right there on 16th Street. And the trees are 10 per bundle for $35.
Boy, that sounds...
Average anywhere between 3 foot to 4 foot tall.
Okay. And
the Colorado spruce averages between 7 inches to 15 inches. They're just little babies.
Okay.
But the others are bigger.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a really good question right now. Mm-hmm. What is the terminology deciduous? What does it mean?
Deciduous means trees that lose leaves in the wintertime.
You're pretty sharp. Okay, and what about
I've read.
and what about the terminology conifer?
Conifers are like your spruces and the junipers, those that have the needles on them and will have a cone to them that will last all year round.
Okay, but you're doing good so far. Double jeopardy. And what kind of shrubs are you going to have available that would really develop into to where they don't have to wait possibly till the end of their life before they start to take effect and really grow nice?
Your common lilac, the currant, would be good ones for those.
Okay.
And the golden currant has currant berries on it, and you can harvest those berries off of those, the currants off of those, and use those. Besides the wildlife like them, the birds and things like that.
So you're telling me that's where they get currant jelly?
It is.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's nothing better than having those currant bushes or whatever, and then all the deer in the whole world come down and they drop little things all over your yard and eat your bushes. My, what a good thing.
And that is a good thing because it helps fertilize natural fertilizer for your yard.
You got an answer for everything. Okay. Now,
you have to.
How long are you going to be doing this seedling tree order?
Probably till the end of this month. Because we're starting to get low on the varieties of the trees that we've got available. We're already out of a few of them, and so we'll probably just go through the end of the month.
Okay. Now, can you give us all the telephone numbers or the locations again, please?
Okay. The telephone number for the 2 Burley districts is 678-1225, extension 100. And if there's no one to answer the phone, you can leave a message. Or you can go to the office and pick up a form, or you can come to the Rupert office and pick up a form, or our phone number here is 436-4202.
Okay, now, last question, nothing to do with trees. How's the flood situation up in Albion?
You know, the creek's holding really, really well right now. I checked it this morning, and I checked it yesterday afternoon, and even with this warm temperatures that we're receiving, the snow that's coming off the mountain, it's going into the ground pretty good. And what's coming in through the creek is staying within the bounds of the creek right now, which is really great and much appreciated. And so some of the people are starting to pick up their sandbags and moving them and dispersing them through their gardens, and so they're thinking that we're out of the woods. But I do know that people down along the river, down the Snake River, are really being affected with the high waters down there. That the banks are starting to erode because the water's running so high, and so they're using a lot of the sandbags to help retain the banks down there now.
Now, you know tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Are you going to celebrate? I beg your pardon?
Sure, to be gory it is.
Oh, okay. Well, you little leprechaun, you. Okay. Sharon Hardy Mills, God bless you for being on the program this morning, and thank you for all that information, and I hope people call and take care of their trees.
Yep, we do too. Thank you.
All right, have a good day. Thank you very much. Oh, she's an old standby on our program, and I mean that in every sense of the word, politely. Thank you very much. Sharon Hardy Mills. Okay, don't forget Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and they've got all your ATVs. I mean, have you been there? No? Well, then you better get over there and just walk in the door, stop right there, look around, and wall to wall, almost wall to ceiling, all the ATVs, all the different colors, all the different shapes, all the accessories. My goodness, it's jam-packed with fun. Fun at Let's Ride. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And now is the time to check out a new 2017 ATV. Or even if you have some ATVs, take them over there right now and get them serviced for this next summer. You're going to wish that you had, so don't make a wish that you had. Just make a promise that you're going to do it. Get over there to Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 in Rupert, where the fun is sold. Also, reminder, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. I really enjoy visiting with old Todd. I say old Todd. He's quite a bit younger than I am. But anyway, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, they are dedicated and responsive to your needs. So please don't put it off. Give them a call and talk to them for an appointment. 436-4424. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. I got time for a call. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. While I'm waiting for your call, I also want to acknowledge the fact that a great company is looking for more great people to go to work. And I'm talking about our friends at Ag Express. They are looking for drivers and full and part-time positions. And they're even saying to retired folks, hey, come on, put your application in. We'd love to work around your schedule. Maybe if it's even 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. And you're home every night. Every night. They've got vacations and they've got benefit packages. Oh, my goodness sakes, you better give them a call. Dale and Paul at 438-8886. Alan in Twin Falls at 731-2495. And Russ and Burley at 431-7175. Ag Express Incorporated, looking for drivers, looking for you. Okay. Today is a big day. And I'll tell you why it's a big day. It's going to be the first day in 3 months that the weather has not sold up and snowed and blown and generally just 100% nasty. So we've had to cancel Lunch Bunch. Today we are not going to cancel it. We're going to be there at Denny's Restaurant. And that's 611 Overland and Burley at 11:30. Now, I'm going to have a little allowance on time, even though I'm going to be leaving a few minutes early from the program. Highway 30 is absolutely a disaster, with the roads being all chewed up by the heavy trucks, and it's just falling and caving apart. And I urge everybody to drive, when they drive on that road, go slow and drive with caution, because you're going to be wrecking your tires. You're going to be throwing your front end out of alignment. It's just absolutely devastating. But we are going to be there at Denny's Restaurant at 11:30 this morning, and we want to say thank you for our gift certificates from Denny's Restaurant, and along with Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes, and, of course, the Redneck Cup holders from Doug Martin. Thank you very much. All of that today at Lunch Bunch in Burley at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. Going to be great. Let's see, what else have I got here real quick before I leave here for this segment and go to the next one. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. That if anybody says to you, well, our economy, it's in a rut and everything, well, wait a minute, just listen to this. Since last October, when they took a poll and they asked Americans what they thought of the economy, as far as do they think it had any future, were they optimistic, only 37% of the respondents said, I don't know, it might start to come back. Well, they just took the same poll in the same fashion and came up with completely different numbers, much more positive. 48% of us now believe we're on the road to a better economy and a better America. And that, to me, sounds really, really good. Right now, we're going to visit with a lady that every Thursday I just absolutely love her viewpoints. She is very knowledgeable about politics, and I say good morning to the lovely Rita Ramsey. Are you there?
Good morning, I am.
How's Rita?
I'm real good.
You're so famous, the Beatles made a song named after you.
I know, I've been called Lovely Rita for a long time.
Okay. Hey, okay, I want to get really serious here this morning. First of all, I'm going to kind of shotgun some items at you and see what you think of them. I am fighting mad, and it's not right, and I hope somebody really stands up and makes a fuss over this. But I've done some research and have found out that the West Palm Beach, Florida VA facility is not the only facility that has refused to put up President Trump and Vice President Pence's pictures, and there's many others. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, I think it's kind of a shame because they've probably had every other president up there.
They do.
They don't want to do it. I guess that's their prerogative. It just shows that they pick and choose instead of being, impartial.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as simplistic as that, though, Rita. I mean, veterans that have fought for the presidencies and the administrations over the years. I think like Congressman, and I'm trying to think of his name right now, I think it was Brian Mast, a representative congressman from Florida that is a double amputee vet from the Afghanistan conflict. He is going to really raise holy you-know-what if they don't put those pictures up there, because he said, I, as a vet, fought for the Obama administration, and why can't we show the same respect to Trump?
Well, that's exactly the way that I feel, and I guess that's a conflict of interest in amongst their members right there in that local one. But it's just sad because they're partial to one and not the other, and they've all obviously had all the other presidents up there over time, ever since they formed their group.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. All yesterday, in the first hour, I was talking about, and I know you're going to have some thoughts on this, the wussy little snowflakes. Oh, the younger generation, they just have their hands out. Gimme, 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 boo-hoo, wah-wah, I want. And they can't be criticized because they'll go and cry. And they, in turn, have turned around and complained to school districts, the little children that are also boo-hoo wannabes. No tag, it's too rough. No touch football, it's too rough. Oh, at recess, go stand outside and don't run around. What kind of a nation of absolute worthless wussies are we raising here, Rita?
Well, that's exactly where it starts, is right there in school on the playground when the kids are as young as kindergarten. And if we'd let them go earlier, it would start earlier. And that was all a part of Common Core, was to get kids in and start getting them, this is the way we're going to do things. Well, when they start doing those things, just like the deal with the tag, and we're gonna have to ban it because we don't want to have anybody get hurt, or it's too dangerous, and this all boils down to, we're going to give you a trophy for participation, not because you actually won it or because you accomplished something. They have got to the point to where they are. And this isn't everybody, because I know a lot of millennials that are really good people, and they have assimilated into the business world, and they're doing well. But a lot of them, it all stems down to, I'm just given praise for everything.
Yeah.
And then they get into college, and they can't figure out how come things are a little bit tougher, and they kind of wimp through there, and they've relaxed all the standards and everything to where when they get out in the job market, they aren't ready to start taking arrows like regular people. They haven't had any kind of combat. They haven't had to battle anything. Everything was just handed to them, and they were protected, and that's why they're snowflakes, is because they didn't ever have to have anything, you know, they never had snowballs, they never had anything else. They're just this little tiny group that was all protected, and we don't need to worry about it. And it's really sad. It boils down to a parenting thing, because if my child went to that school where they said they were going to ban tag, and I would say, and what else have they banned? You know, you could go along and notice that they probably banned dozens of other things before it came to this, and all we're doing is making them wusses. They need to find out that this is the way you do it. You get praised when you win, and when you don't, you try harder and start trying to bring your standards up. That's how people, you know, competition makes you better. If you don't ever have competition, or you don't have any of the things that cause you to, you know, look back and reflect, and I mean, tag is just ridiculous, but it's all part of the big picture, I think.
Well, and besides that, I'm just going to say this, and you may not agree with the terminology, but this is the way I feel because I think I'm an expert in it. Life hurts. Life hurts, and you better expose yourself to the various hurts and the injuries and the mental anguish and everything, because life hurts. It's not all a bowl of cherries that can be controlled by a superintendent or a principal or your parents. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing of it is, you know, in an article that I read about that, they had asked one of the students, and one of the students says, well, I don't think it's fair. I don't really play tag, but I don't think it's fair that they do that. And then somebody else said, well, sometimes the other kids touch too hard and push people over. Well, that's what you have a schoolyard teacher out there kind of watching, saying, okay, guys, you know, when you do this, you don't push people down and everything. It's kind of just, you know, give them a swat on their shoulder, on their arm or something. It doesn't need to be a hard one, and keep playing. I mean, that's what you do. But instead, it's like, oh no, we're going to have to make sure that they don't do it anymore. And
yeah,
you know, they were also instructed that physical contact, including tag, touch football, and those kinds of things, just aren't allowed in the schoolyard anymore. It's like, really?
Well, now be honest here, and you and I are not that far apart in ages, and I think you'd agree with me. These little wussy snowflakes of today wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes on our playgrounds when you and I were growing up.
Well, they wouldn't, and you know, there's the power of persuasion. All you have to do is tell somebody, especially people who are kind of, you know, on the fence of being wuss or not wuss. All you have to say, man, you look bad today. Are you sure you're feeling bad or feeling okay? Are you good? You don't look very good. And pretty soon, oh, I'm not feeling very good. I guess I'm going to have to go home. Well, all you have to do, and you've seen this, I'm sure, with your grandchildren. You probably did it with your kids. We did it with our kids. We do it with our grandkids all the time. And I kind of butt in and do it with other little kids, too, is that when they fall or something happens to them, it's, oh, man, you're tough. You're probably okay.
Yep.
Boy, they just come to attention and kind of smile that, yeah, I'm tough. I'm okay. Otherwise, they'd lay down and, oh, boo-hoo, you know. And all you have to do is teach them, hey, you're tough. You didn't break anything. Your skin isn't broken. You know, get up and move around. You're fine. Get going.
Amen.
And they do.
Now, I said something in the first hour that I really am anxious to hear if you agree with me on this. I said that I just am really sick and tired of what's happening when the world demands and our government caves to the pressure. In other words, if the world wants something done or not done here through the United Nations or privately, they demand, and our government, milquetoast leaders that they are, have bowed to their pressure. I'll give you an example, like I said first hour. Illegal aliens and non-citizens of this country, in my opinion, right now, this very moment, have more rights to come here to this country than we do as citizens of this country to say no. Do you agree or not?
Well, I do, and that's where we have a really big problem, because government overreach has got so thick and so heavy, and it's actually become well, this is what we do. And so people say, well, yeah, what about the government? What's the government going to do? Da, 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 da. Well, you know what? The government shouldn't be doing anything about it. And if the UN or the other countries in the world want us to do stuff, I think that they need to put it before the people in the states and let the states kind of decide that. But you have all these people in Washington who think, I'm in charge, we can do anything, I'm the king up on a hill, we'll just do whatever they want. And then they start bowing to these other groups and countries or whatever it is, instead of saying, you know what, we're a sovereign nation, this is what our rules are, and until those rules have been changed, we're not going to do that. It's really sad because we have abdicated responsibility over to politicians, and they have us in such a mess that we don't even realize. The majority of Americans don't even realize the kind of messes that we're in and how we have given over that power, our personal power, to others that shouldn't be taking it away from us.
You know, I am really concerned that we're being ridiculed and demeaned as hate mongers and bigots and everything else. But I've come right out and said this earlier this morning that I don't care if Muslims, and I'm going to point my finger at them, from those countries in the Middle East that are very questionable, and now it's already been proven a lot of jihadis have come here with false papers just to get into this country. I don't care if they're upset. I don't care if they've been put in a situation of not being able to come here for 120 days. I just think that we need to know more. They need to be scrutinized, and the vetting process is absolutely ridiculous. It is not foolproof.
Well, a lot of that vetting can't even be done because they don't have any kind of records that show who these people are. I mean, a lot of the ones who were out to harm us, they've either had their, their identities and stuff washed so that they can't be determined that they're Joe Schmo who's been into trouble with this and that and the other. They'll come here and say, I'm so-and-so, and I mentioned a number of times on this radio program, and I'll mention it again, that there's an imam down in Twin Falls who he is, according to his records and the stuff that he has filled out, he isn't even 17 years old, and he's probably closer to 50. Yeah. What I want to know is, how could he get his own birthday, and what name is his real name?
Yeah.
Is that his real name?
Yeah.
Why did he choose 2001 or whatever it was? I mean, he's going under false numbers, and here he's the imam, so if that's happening, and we know that, how many others are in that circumstance, and what is the real motive?
Yeah, but you know, in this stupid society that we live in now, you can choose your gender, you can re-choose your birth date, you can re-choose everything, and look at Dolezal, that woman that said, well, even though I was born white, I'm black, everybody else is wrong. This is insane as to what we're letting happen in this country.
Well, it is, and it's all because we put up with it.
Yeah.
If we had some states that would go in there, and there's a few of them, Texas kind of leads the pack, but it's because of their leaders, not because of their people in Austin. It's because of their leaders who say, you know what, we're not going to put up with that kind of stuff, and we're not going to do this, and we're not going to do that, and we're going to do this. States have the rights individually to vote and determine all of this kind of stuff, if they would. And yet they abdicate so much responsibility over to the federal government because the federal government says, well, we'll give you this many dollars if you do this and if you do that. And pretty soon the states aren't in charge, and the federal government's the one with the purse strings. And guess who's filling that purse with money?
Yeah,
you and I.
Absolutely. You know, Rita, our society is being so turned upside down with the transgenderism and people like Rachel Dolezal that I talked about just a few moments ago that was going to be heading up the NAACP. She's not black, never was, came from a straight line of Europeans, white family, and now she's saying, well, I'm black because I want to be. You know, pretty soon, look at sports. Everybody can go to wherever they want to play. You want to play for a girls' team, you can. You want to play for a boys' team, you can. They're making demands, and they're totally upsetting the apple cart of decency and morality in this country. And I, for one, am not going to abide by it, and I'm not going to change my attitude.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I was having this conversation the other day, And it just it just points out how it gets so out of control. You know, we had those pro football players that wouldn't stand up for the national anthem, and their owners, the people who were signing their paychecks, said absolutely nothing about it.
Yep.
There was one owner who said, when you're on my stage, you will do this. Otherwise, you're out of here.
Yeah.
And that was the only one that I heard that actually stood up and say that, and that was Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, if people don't start doing it, it needs to be in business, it needs to be in the schools, it needs to be at home, it needs to be in our state government. We have got to take control of our lives and start expecting things instead of just saying, oh, well, we'll let it go, no big deal.
Well, let me tell you a story that happened to me, and it was just a couple of weeks ago. I was criticized by some of I'm just going to come out and be honest with you, the weirdos in our society. Because in the case of Bradley Manning, you know, that stole secrets from the United States, etc., and then he had the name changed to the transgender Chelsea Manning, etc., and they said, well, how come you don't show any respect and call him by the name that he wants now under the transgender name of Chelsea? And I said, wait a minute. First of all, I don't believe in what they're doing, and secondarily, he committed the crime as Bradley Manning, and that's how he's going to be referred to. Bradley Manning, traitor to this country. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing of it is, because he changes his name doesn't mean that he didn't do anything prior. It's kind of like saying, well, you know, I was a bad guy in my other life, and now I'm going to be a good person. I just want to let all that stuff go. Well, there's consequences, and when you do things, you pay the price. It doesn't mean they're all just washed away like they were never there. But this is what they're trying to do, is they're trying to put their past behind them, whatever the reason is. I think it's more for attention than anything else.
I do too.
But some of them, it'd be just like, you know, well, I've got an alias. I don't go by my real name because they'd put me in jail if they found out it was really me. So I'll go by an alias, and then maybe they won't catch up with me quite so soon. And it's just sad that we put up with that kind of stuff, and there's so many people out there that, I'll look the other way, it's none of my business.
Yeah, and that's really the shame. You said it best earlier, when really all of these problems in our society today are because the good people sat back and let it happen.
That's right, and you know that saying that all it takes for evil is for good men to sit back and do nothing, you know.
Absolutely.
Look the other way or do nothing. When evil happens, that's what the evil is when you just let it keep happening.
I've got to do a weather forecast, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk to you about Yale University, and there's no more freshmen. We're going to talk about that in a moment. The weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, CPAs, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, retirement planning, and so much more. With offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, CPAs serving you. Right now, here's the weather.
It feels a lot like spring as we are moving through the week. Of course, that flood watch has been extended through today, and it's probably going to be extended through the weekend. Here is our weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side. High of about 64 today. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 36. Tomorrow, gorgeous as we get ready to kick off the weekend. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70 with an overnight low of 43. Saturday, pretty much the same. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate it. Brought to you by the best that are working for you. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, CPAs. They can really be a benefit to you with retirement planning and payroll services, people starting a business, partnership, or corporation. Please get a hold of them today in Burley and Rupert. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Rita, little by little, our society is being turned upside down again because we're letting it happen. And now, along with some of the other Ivy League schools like Cornell and others, now at Yale University, you are not allowed, and this really gets me giggling because nobody's going to tell me in a First Amendment free speech America that I can or can't say this. you're not allowed to say freshman at Yale University because now, according to one of the deans back there, they say there comes a time when you want to make sure that the way you're calling things reflects the values that you have. Explain that to me.
I can't really understand what their thinking is, but I do know one thing, and that is they are on the bus for being politically correct. They think that that is a demeaning name. All it is just a name given to that first year of college or high school.
Yep.
It has been fine for however long, probably hundreds of years. The thing of it is that we keep bending over every time they say, no, you can't do this. And so, okay, what do you want us to do? And we just bow to them. And I've explained the politically correct thing before. That all starts with communism, and that is to shut people up and make sure that they only say the right things. And once you get people complicit in that, then you've got them and you're in charge of them, and that's what they're doing. And I think that people, especially back there in that area, the people that are in charge of Yale, the people who are the ones who donate to Yale, I think there ought to be a great big to-do about saying, you know what, this is ridiculous. Get off of it.
Yeah, but you know, it is ridiculous, and you and I are exactly on the same page with the verbiage that you just shared with us. But the problem is, we're not speaking out loud enough, and others of number with us. On the Yale University campus, here's what the campus feminist said to a student newspaper, that the term freshman was one of many fights on campus, centering around gender equality. The head of Yale's transgender activist group said that the change was a positive symbolic move that made sense in a dark time in America right now, presented by the Trump administration. Let me tell you something. This gender equality is nothing more than anti-Christian, anti-biblical, anti-everything that has to do with God being our creator and developing men and women. And I'm sick and tired of these know-nothings, whether they be campus feminists or not, trying to change and lower the standards in America.
Well, that's exactly the way it is. And you can see over the last 25 years, probably even longer than that, we have dumbed down America really bad. And we're on a train that is going to crash. And we've seen it. We see it in our millennials right now. You see it in the kids that are in college right now. So it's been going on probably for longer than 25 years. But the thing of it is we just keep dumbing things down, and pretty soon they're going to be wards of the state, and we're just going to be a big welfare country, and then we're going to bust because we can't continue to do that. And that's what it's all about, is to make people dependent upon those in charge, and those in charge are the ones who want big government.
Let me ask you, I got about 2.5 minutes left here this morning, and I apologize, time goes by so fast, but the healthcare debate over the repeal and throwing away of Obamacare and the new American Health Care Act, I've talked to many people, from Dr. Elena George in Atlanta, very, very instrumental in ideas to the government on how to construct this new Health Care Act, and many others. What are your thoughts about what's being done right now on health care?
I think they're just spending way too much time on it. I could sit down right now and write a plan.
Yep,
and
I agree.
It would, if it took place, everybody would be happy. The first thing is you don't let the government in charge of it.
Amen.
You let the states deal with it. The second thing is those who can't get insurance because of their health needs or whatever, they need to have an option to get maybe in a big group, like through a state insurance exchange or whatever. That is all that is needed. The people who are too poor, that can't afford any health, we've always been taking care of them. They need to have a way to get it also. The rest of us need to be left alone. Let us buy our insurance. Let us pay our hospital bills. Let us do what we want to do. Let the medical people do their thing and keep the government out of it, because all you do is ruin it, and everybody's unhappy. And then there's those of us who, after Obamacare went into effect, are paying double and triple the amount for premiums.
Yes, that's right.
We're footing the bill. And
That's
it's
right.
not fair. It's not right. the government shouldn't be involved unless you're indigent or you need help.
And one other aspect, and I'm almost out of time, short answer on this, I've got 30 seconds left. I want to see the restoration of personal responsibility, not government control.
Well, if you give personal responsibility, then government can't be in control and they lose all of their power, and that's not going to happen as long as we keep letting them have it.
Amen. Whew, good conversation this morning, Rita. Enjoy this beautiful weekend that they've got on the way, and we'll look forward to next Thursday. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
God bless you. Thank you. I love having her on the program. Thank you very much, Rita Ramsey. You know, I've been on this diet, self-imposed diet, and it's working. I'm wearing Wranglers that somehow shrunk in the closet, and they're starting to fit better. Well, I do get hungry, and I am right now. And I know some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Ooh, mint chip shakes or mint Oreo shakes with a chicken fried steak sandwich and the fries and the special sauce or a famous Farmer Brown burger. Oh, let's go! Absolutely delicious. AC Drive-In 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about the Taco Bandito? 2301 Overland in Burley with that new pork burrito with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Oh, it's delicious. And how about that Taco Bandito that has bacon with jalapeno in it? Whoa, delicious. And the breakfast burritos, all of this and more at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, listen to this. There's 2 locations of Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And they've got corn dogs and burritos only 99 cents after 3 o'clock. Are you kidding me? And don't forget, too, on Sundays at the Burley location, delicious. Every Sunday shrimp dinners. You're going to love it. Great people, great food. Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, let's talk about Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Hello, Steve-O's. They got a new salad. It's the chicken breast with bacon and all the goodies. Oh, my. And they got a different soup every day. Delicious soup. And cupcakes. Cupcakes. I love cupcakes. Friendly servers, dedicated staff. Steve-O's. 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And last but not least, I'm drooling. All of our good friends over at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert, right on the square. And they've got take and bake pizzas right now at Doc's. Take them home, bake them in your own oven, and wow, they're all delicious in various sizes, any kind. You're going to love it. And if you haven't been there to Doc's Pizza, you just haven't had a really good time yet. You will with all their pizza and the great food at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Whew. We're going to take a little break right now, send it back over to Wheels at our main studios. Don't forget Lunch Bunch Day today at 11:30 at Denny's America's Diner. Going to be great. And CBS News coming up next. I'm chuckling a little bit because, you know, there seems to be dissension in Dodge City. Why? Some of the residents are unhappy. We're going to talk about another story like that in just a minute. Oh, calm down. Sit down and just evaluate. There you go. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service. Get rid of your garbage, 734-6969. I want to remind you that I talked to these folks about a week ago, and I'm very, very high on what they're trying to do, and that's the Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to remember, number to write down, 436-3200. 436-3200. It is the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they take the residents to really be involved in the community events such as the Wilson Theater Productions, OVAC, etc. And the folks over there at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center invite you, the public, to visit their facility anytime and find out more. You know, they're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Oh, and by the way, before we go to our guest in our next segment, I want to remind you Ag Express is looking for drivers. Yes, buddy, they are. They're looking for drivers, full and part-time, and they're looking for retired folks to put in their applications, and they'll work around the schedule 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. Well, you're home every night, and you're driving new and maintained equipment. My goodness sakes, vacation schedules, benefit packages. What are you waiting for? Call Ag Express. Dale and Paul at 438-8886. Allen and Twin Falls at 731-2495. And Russ and Burley at 431-7175. Ag Express is looking for drivers. They're looking for you. Right now it's time for Cassia County School Days. And Cassia County School Days brought to you by some wonderful, wonderful people and businesses. First of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland and Burley, and they're still continuing the half off, half the store sale, and it still continues, and boy, oh boy, can you save money on a lot of great merchandise, whether it's children's clothing or the games, the puzzles, the Cherokee scrubs, the shoes, whatever. You stop in today, shop locally at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And the other sponsor, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley for your outpatient surgeries. And save you money. Glaucoma surgeries, tonsil surgeries, colonoscopies, all of this and more. Call them and find out how they can save you money at 677-8888. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you now School Days in Cassia County. And with us is the Cassia County School Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield. Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
Well, good morning. That was a very pleasant greeting.
Well, you always get pleasant greetings. Why, there's no dissension in Cassiaville. I'm sure that everybody's getting along, are they not?
Oh, yes. We're just like everywhere else. Everyone is just plugging along. No, there's always something, that's for sure.
Well, now, let's be very honest and open. That's what we are on this program, and we never hide anything. We never lift up the corner of the rug and throw it underneath, hoping somebody won't see it. But I understand there seems to be a little bit of shake and bake and bad feelings going on over in Oakley. Why?
There was a transfer, a position change made with the administrator in Oakley. He has had a reassignment, was presented to him at the end of last week, and the reassignment is causing some concern and some questions with patrons in Oakley.
Okay. Now, some of the calls that were received here at my studio were using the words firing and everything. That's not true, is it?
No, he hasn't been fired. He's still an employee of the district and will continue to function as the principal until the end of the school year.
Okay.
And will still be an employee of the school district until the reassignment begins, which I think officially would take place around August 1st.
All right. Now
as a vice principal of 2 elementary schools in Burley.
Okay. Now, we have a caller with a question. And caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Debbie Critchfield and myself. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say hooray for Burley High School for starting the first gun club since 1956.
Okay. All right. Maybe if Debbie knows something about that, she can respond. Go ahead, Debbie, quickly to the caller.
I didn't hear the first part.
He said congratulations for the first gun club at Burley High School.
Oh, yes, and I can quickly touch on that. Colleen Parkin, who is a social studies teacher at Burley High School, has put together a shooting club and presented the information several months ago to the school board as an opportunity and activity for students who are interested in that type of thing, and it looks to be very promising and very successful. So it's a great program that I'm excited about.
I hope this is a trendsetter, Debbie. I really do, because I've maintained for a long time, all my adult life, that if you're going to fear something, that's because you don't know about something, or it turns into a negative situation. And I think guns, shotguns, shooting club, whatever it might be, all that does is it creates education and it creates knowledge of a situation that a lot of people run away from. And I think this is great.
I do too, and not every student wants to be involved in the school play or play basketball or, be a cheerleader. There are students whose hobbies take in these types of activities, and so we're always pleased to see our teachers step up and take on more leadership responsibilities.
Okay, now, I want to get back to this other situation briefly and then touch on other things that are going on in Cassia County, but can we put to rest the rumor that the principal is being transferred, not being fired? Anything you want to add to that story?
I know I've heard all sorts of things out there, and folks are entitled to their opinion, and it's wonderful. I think that people are engaged and interested in what's going on at the school and who their administrator is. But as far as the firing part of the talk, like I say, he's still an employee of the district, will continue to be in a new assignment. And I know that community members are engaging board members and having conversations with central administration. And so I think as the discussion continues, we hope to be able to answer as many questions as we can and hopefully come to some kind of resolution.
Okay. I learned a lot, well, I have on many of these segments, with the outstanding people that you line up in Cassia County to come on this program. And I don't have the notes in front of me, so correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it Sandra Miller that we had on last week talking about the calendaring process for the school year?
I think she was a couple weeks ago, but yes, she was. And we had a calendaring committee that met yesterday and went through some drafts, and we had a lot of feedback from community members, from teachers, and from others who are interested in that calendar. School calendar kind of drives the community in a lot of ways. And so the first meeting we had, we made tweaks. We have the plan to put out a draft into the community and back into our schools to get some more feedback before the board makes any final decisions in April. So I would just encourage people to look on our website and other school channels if they're interested in providing additional information.
I got to be honest with you that I learned a lot, and I had no idea. I don't think maybe 90% of the people have no idea how much of a process it is and how difficult it is, and really there is no room for that four-letter word, oops.
There's never a lot of room for that word anywhere, is there? But it is a process that takes in a lot of people. It takes in a lot of factors that, unless you are in on the process intimately, that you don't appreciate. And so that's why we like to put it out into the community and get a reaction. What looks good, what don't you like? And so, as I said, we'd encourage people to check out our website. We'll have a draft on there in a day or two.
Okay. What about the facilities? You and I haven't talked a long time on here about the facilities, the building. What's going on?
Well, we are full steam ahead. Raft River High School is set to have stage one or phase one of their construction completed enough that we're going to move students out of the existing high school over, well, not students, but desks and so forth, into the new classroom wing. And they're going to get going on the existing part of the high school. But the plan and the goal to have that school completely functional and completed for the fall is on track. Similar scenario in Oakley with the facilities there. You may have heard, and it was reported in some news outlets, that there was an issue of mold at the new elementary school in Burley, John Evans Elementary, and that has been completely addressed. We had a professional company come in and completely spray a material that inhibits the future growth and kills anything that is there. And so we're confident that we have addressed that, and the building timelines they're coming along pretty well.
The one thing I want to say, and I want to get your response on this, is that I don't know how many years it's been now since you and I and Galen Smyer and others got together and said, let's put together a segment on schools and Cassia County schools. And we bring out the pros, the cons, the negatives, and the positives, which I really admire Cassia County for being forthright on this. Now, that's not to overshadow any other county or any other district. And everybody has problems and everybody has positives, but I really salute you the way you're handling this to make sure that the public is informed as to what's going on.
We try. You mentioned you didn't know how long. This is actually the 4th year.
Oh, my.
And it's gone by so quickly. And the expectation of people in our community and patrons of our schools is that we are transparent and that we produce all the information that we have and that we talk about these things, that we don't, as you mentioned the rug earlier, we don't scoop them under the rug. And so every effort is made to keep people informed. Sometimes decisions and information isn't pleasing or well received to people, but we always want to err on the side of at least having the discussion and making folks aware.
It's hard to believe, and correct me on this, I could be way off, but you're about, 12 weeks or so away from the end of school already for this year?
I think that's pretty close, yeah. Our spring break is next week, and that's always a big milestone. It seems like things start to fly once we get back from that break.
Are there any things or items that you want to talk about in regards to Cassia County going into the spring? I mean, we're looking at a different spring sports schedule. We're looking at a lot of the seniors wrapping up their final year in high school. We're looking at the summer school and that type of thing. Anything else you want to mention?
You just mentioned everything that I would have mentioned. You're a pro. We'll swap positions. If I go on vacation, I'll call you up. You've got it down. One of the things that I did want to touch on that you didn't just mention, you had last week Andrew Ray from Burley High School on. He talked about the Hiring Expo that we brought together or put together last Friday. And I wanted to mention how successful that was. They had over 200 individuals turn up to inquire about potential positions in the school district.
Wow.
And the spring really is the main hiring time for any school district, not just Cassia. And so we would encourage folks that if you missed out or you felt like maybe you walked away and didn't inquire on something that you thought about later, to go to our website, to make a phone call to our central office. We're still interested in getting quality people and getting our positions filled.
Very well stated, and I certainly hope we continue this segment because, like I said, I learn a lot, whether it's about all the technology that's going on or any other subject that they bring up on this program. I've enjoyed it. I really say thank you to you, Debbie Critchfield. You are the person that's put this all together, the Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, always doing a good job, and I thank you for your time on the program this morning.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Debbie. Appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
A very informative and very forthright lady, and I appreciate that. And Debbie Critchfield with, of course, Cassia County School Days. Brought to you by two wonderful businesses. Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. And, of course, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Both of them serving you in the community. And you be sure and stop in and say hello to them today. Okay, by the by, before we go to our next segment in our Thursday business salutes, caller, stand by. I'll be right with you, I promise. I want to remind everybody about the Southern Idaho Women's Expo, sponsored by the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, Idaho Central Credit Union, and Idaho Housing and Finance. It's going to be April 13th at the Best Western Burley Inn. Businesses, pay attention now. You be sure and get your business over there. Get a booth space so that you can tell everybody who you are, and what you do. It's going to be fantastic. Southern Idaho Women's Expo, April 13th. Don't you miss it. Caller, quickly, you're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, I wanted to take the opportunity quickly before you had your next guest that, I noticed that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we had nice days. Even today's nice. And I seen nothing happening on our state roads. So I called the governor's office, 334-2100, and I got a hold of a lady named Delphina, and I said, Delphina, everybody's out here working, running around, scrambling around. It's spring, and I see nobody fixing these state roads. I want you to tell me what you're doing. And she says, well, I'm going to have to get back with you. because I was a little bit hot because I noticed we had missed some time here. So she says, they tried to tell me that no hot plant for, to fix asphalt, you have hot and cold patch.
Yeah, real quick, Randy.
Hot plants is the best way to fix them.
Yeah.
And she says, no hot plants are going to start till June. And I says, are you telling me that you guys are going to wait till June to start fixing these roads? I said, I laughed and I said, that can't be. So she says, I got to get back with you.
Okay.
She told me that there's going to be a hot plant started up in the Magic Valley or somewhere so they can start fixing these roads. And if I'm not mistaken, they're going to start repairing the state roads.
Okay.
Like Overland and Main Street are state roads to Burley here.
Okay.
And working on them and wherever else. I mean, we know it's a monstrous thing, but at least there's been some progress. But
I got to run, Randy, but I want to tell you this. Do like Deanne and I are doing. We always get in the car and take extra food with us when we go on Highway 30. Not for ourselves, but we drop it in the holes to people with small, compact cars that'll never get out till they fix the roads.
yeah, like a bug. He's driving in the hole and then it fills it. Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
You bet, Mike.
Let's go to the other phone line right now, and we have with us from Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Number to call 734-6969. Hello, Darren. How are you this morning?
Good, Zeb. How are you? It's Derek.
Oh, I had Darren on my sheet, and it's my fault. It's Derek, and I apologize. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Zeb. No problem.
All right. Listen, Western Waste Services, you guys have been with us for a long time on this program, and I know that you're all over the valley getting rid of something that a lot of people don't want to touch, they don't want to deal with, they just want it out of sight and out of mind, and that's people's garbage. And you do a wonderful job. You're very efficient. Give us a chance right now to listen to you brag about Western Waste Services.
Well, I appreciate it, Zeb. We do absolutely do a great job. We pride ourselves on a couple things. One, definitely customer service. I think that's kind of the backbone of our company. Is we just will go the extra mile for our customers. And two, our employees. We have just absolutely great employees. So those or that combination just makes us just an awesome company. So.
And you offer so many variables. I mean, like the Go Mini storage units and the dumpsters, to which my wife said I should back one up to the back window of my office and just start a heave-ho program. And the weekly pickup of the trash and everything. I mean, holy cow, you guys are efficient.
Yep, absolutely, Zeb. And we will, we're kind of the same day company. If somebody calls us, for example, like a portable toilet or dumpster, roll-off, we'll do everything in our power to get it there definitely that day, but usually within 2 to 3 hours we can have a dumpster there.
We're getting...
Usually. But given the springtime and the summer, we're starting to get busy now, so we do ask to give us a little breathing room, but once again, that customer service part, we will get it to you as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. One thing I'd like to mention, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, Derek, is that we're getting closer, hopefully, not only on the calendar but weather-wise, for a lot more activities outside. The farmers are going to be planting. We're going to see picnics and everything. What about the porta potty situation? How far in advance do they have to give you a call?
Zeb, once again, it doesn't take too much advance notice, depending on how many they need. But, if they want several toilets, again, we can have them there the next day. Now with the farmers, I know the popular toilet option for them is the trailer units. The portable toilet, it's on a trailer, so they can drag it around to fields. Those are popular, so those do go quick.
Okay.
So I would say maybe, a couple weeks in advance for those toilet units.
Did you ever have any idea, honestly, that from a garbage collection company to now all the other services that you offer, that you folks would be this big, this popular, and serving that many people?
Yeah, absolutely. We've grown just significantly, Zeb, and we'll continue to grow, but, we continue to just, try and acquire new businesses, for example, like the Go Minis.
Yeah.
And that has been a great asset for us. We just, had to get more Go Minis because we just keep running out of those, and we just keep purchasing equipment every year because we're growing so fast.
Now, on the Go Minis, Derek, I want to ask you about that. They can either get them and park them on their property, store them there, or if they don't want them on their property because of limited space, what do they do? Call you and you've got places to store them on your property?
Yep, absolutely. We can. There's several options with the Go Minis, but they just call us. We'll drop one off at their facility, and they can, if they want the option of having us to bring it back here, we can store it. We have a secure facility with camera system and all that good stuff. Or we can take it wherever they want. It's so simple.
I'm really high on you folks for your attitude, your personality, and the business that you offer for the public. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. And Derek, I thank you so much for being on the program. Don't make yourself a stranger and come back soon, would you please?
Awesome, Zeb. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Have a great day. Thank you. Wonderful people over at Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969. Oh, my goodness sakes. Don't forget again. Let me see. Did I talk about that just a moment ago? I believe I did. And Lunch Bunch coming up in about an hour at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. We're going to be over there for Lunch Bunch. Holy buckets. First time in about 3 months we've been able to with the weather. So we'll look forward to that. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, my goodness. You got to turn the microphone on first. Zeb, you've only been in this industry for over 50 years. Good morning. Welcome back. And holy cow, I haven't said anything yet this segment to get everybody riled, but good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you, Zeb?
I'm good. What can I do for you?
Great. Hey, my name is Chantry Whittle, and I am calling. We are organizing a protest today down at the Cassia County School office.
Okay. What kind of a protest?
Yes, sir. In favor of Mike Corbett, the principal at Oakley High School.
Okay. Under what regard? Pardon?
Down. As to why we feel that Mike Corbett needs to remain as principal.
Well, I think it's great that you're going to do this and have a protest and make your demands and everything. And I'm not going to stand up and say you shouldn't do it or whatever. But as long as you and the rest of your group know all the facts of which you can obtain, I'm sure, from the superintendent. Wait a minute. Hear me out. Superintendent of schools. And I, for one, am not going to take a side on this issue because I'll tell you what, I didn't know about this issue until about 30 minutes ago. And on my program, I only deal with facts and absolutes. And right now, I don't have all the absolutes.
Okay. May I give you some facts that we have accumulated here as a community? I've gone to the school and talked to the teachers and gotten the support of the teachers. I've gotten the facts from the students. This comes from the Oakley High School. From what the students have spoken, and facts of what we have seen here in the community of Oakley.
Okay, make it short and brief. Go ahead.
That I would like to read over.
Just a couple of them.
Remembering exactly numbers, so if I write them down and I can read the facts, that's what we want to state, and that's all that we ask people to listen to our side.
Okay.
The facts that we have. We understand that everybody has an opinion. We respect those people that have opinions the other way, and we don't wish to make this a violent protest. We just want to be heard as a community. We've gone online. There's a lady that's gone on there in support on Facebook, and we have 229 signatures just from yesterday in support of Mike Corbett. I have almost 250 in my possession that I've left at Searles, Clark's, Judy's Cafe, and that we have had people going and knocking on doors in support of Mike Corbett just in the community. We only have 700 people in the community of Oakley, and we have dang near 500 signatures saying they're in favor of it.
Well, go ahead. I'm listening.
I would like to say Mike Corbett has written support of 19 of the 25 staff members in the Oakley High School. Okay. On the student-led effort, 81% of the students present at school yesterday signed a petition in support of Mike Corbett. That was 120 students out of 148 enrolled at the Oakley High School. Okay? He has widespread support from the community and parents who appreciate that Mike treats everyone equally without regard to social status, and he has received more written support from the community than any other faculty member ever. With a total of 5 principals in the past 12 years, Oakley has experienced a revolving door of principals, with some who have been ran out of this town without an explanation. Mike Corbett has served as principal for 3 years, which is longer than most of his recent predecessors. Because of the revolving principal door, many of us were skeptical when he was hired, expecting him to be as temporary as the others before him. Instead, Mike earned the trust and support of the community. When he was hired, he was the best candidate, and as a community, we are not willing to take a chance on a new principal knowing we would have to settle for less than Mr. Corbett.
Okay, hold it a minute. Wait a minute. I'm not going to let you ramble for 10 minutes on my program without giving me an insert. Now, have the respect to be quiet for a minute and let me ask some questions. Do you understand?
I apologize about that.
All right. What is the ultimate reason as to why Mr. Corbett is not there? Let's address that issue.
That is what we would like to know. The school board has not released, because this is a personnel matter, Mr. Corbett has released his information and his record down there at the office to be looked at. He would like to know himself why he is being let go. They're wanting to relocate him to be an assistant principal at 2 other schools.
Okay. Now, you don't have, and don't interrupt me again on this, you don't have all the basics of what the problems are or what precipitated the problems so that you can confer those with me on the air this morning. Is that correct?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said you don't have all the reasons behind this so that we can talk about these on the air this morning.
This is what we would like to know, and this is what we would like to find out. So we're asking for the help. We have talked with some individuals that are in opposition of Mike Corbett.
Okay.
And there are a few things that they have come up with. Can I go ahead and state what I know of?
Briefly, because I'm not going to let you ramble. Briefly, go ahead.
Sorry about that. So one of the things that they have come up with is that they say that he has been unorganized. The second one that they have come up with is that he has not had regularly enough staff meetings. That was the second thing that was brought up. Okay, the third thing that was brought up was that the students' grades have been in a decline for the past 3 years since he has been principal. Those are the three statements that I have heard from an individual that is opposed to Mike Corbett staying as principal. But we have not heard a statement as to why from the school board, nor any written statement from anybody else.
Okay.
I'd like to see those.
Okay, I don't blame you for that, and it sounds like he is a man in your group's opinion, and I'm being very middle of the road here because I don't know all the facts, but it sounds like you're very supportive of him. A, have you been to the superintendent of schools office? B, has there been any conversation as to why and how come? All of these facts need to be present for both sides to make an ultimate decision as to whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Has all that been addressed?
Okay. I would like to schedule a time with you, and if you'd like to call me back off the air and see if we can arrange a time so we can sit down and review this a little bit. It's one of those that we would like to hear from the superintendent. That's what we would like to hear.
Okay.
From Oakley, and I'm speaking in favor. I'm one that started the petition And we would like to hear that. We want to sit down peacefully and try to resolve this because we feel that he's a great asset.
Okay. And may I say to you, what was your name again, sir? I apologize. I can sometimes it's a little fuzzy on a cell phone, but go ahead. Give me your name again.
Yes. My name is Chantry Whittle, Chantry, Whittle, Whittle.
Okay, well, listen, Chancey, here's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm only saying this because I have a limited segment on this program for right now because I'm taking off early. I put on a lunch bunch dinner for the seniors at Denny's, so I apologize. You get the facts. You get everything put together, and you call me, and I'll blatantly give you my number right on the air because I don't care who is. I want them to call me and let me know. 312-2976. I'll repeat it. 312-2976, and I will give you an airing on this program next week. We'll talk about it. We'll get both sides of this issue on the program, and we'll discuss it. I don't run from any issue or any group or any person, so you call me, and we'll put it on the air and get it discussed.
May I end with one statement?
Yes, sir.
While we truly admire the members of the school board and appreciate their efforts, they are our friends and fellow community members. However, we respectfully disagree with their decision in the circumstances and hope that they will listen to the wishes of the community and reconsider their decision with Principal Mike Corbett of the Oakley High School.
That was very professionally stated, and Mr. Whittle, I commend you on that. Once again, my phone is open for you to call me for an appointment to come on my program anytime, 312-2976, and keep me abreast of what's going on, and we'll talk only about specifics and the facts, and I appreciate your calling in.
Thank you. That's what we would like to be presented.
All right, sir.
Have a good day.
And thank you very much. I appreciate that. The way that any discussion on any different point of view is going to be handled on my program is that I know all the facts going in first. I'm not going to get into a middle of a mudslinging contest without knowing which way the mud balls are flying. And I want all the specifics and all the facts. And that's why over the next couple of days they can get the facts, they can sit down, they can call me, we can come on the program, and we can talk about it. That's the way it's going to be. Time for a weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call Don Scarrow and his crew, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowmeats.com. I've been talking about their bacon, the buckboard bacon, leaner and more economical than traditional bacon, and they got all kinds of different flavors like peppered and lemon peppered and smokehouse and ranch. It's good. It's good. And all their breakfast sausages, their brats, I'm telling you what, Scarrows Meats. Changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
It feels a lot like spring as we are moving through the week. Of course, that flood watch has been extended through today, and it's probably going to be extended through the weekend. Here is our weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side. High of about 64 today. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 36. Tomorrow, gorgeous as we get ready to kick off the weekend. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70 with an overnight low of 43. Saturday, pretty much the same. Partly cloudy skies, high of 70. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Okay, Gina, thank you very much. I'm telling you, delicious meats over at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Yes, it is true. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Now, we're all getting ready to go to Lunch Bunch, and as I said, in just a few minutes, I'm going to kind of cut the program off early today, because for the last 3 months, we haven't been able to have Lunch Bunch because of the snow and the ice and the inclement weather and everything. And, man, I looked outside and I see blue sky. Woo, I'm looking forward to it. But now we got the roads to contend with all the absolute shattered pavement and the holes and everything else to drive carefully going to Lunch Bunch. We're going to start at 11:30 this morning at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. You know, we sincerely appreciate our major sponsor of this program, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Doing the right thing matters. That's their slogan, and that should be applicable to all of us and all of our businesses. And they're having a big spring tire sale. You want to travel? They've got the tires. You want to drive with peace of mind? They've got the tires. And they can help you, whether it's a car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever. You be sure and stop over and check out the tires you need during this spring tire sale. Absolutely. With also the best in brake service and front end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. But above all, the best in service. They really care. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They are good. Wheels, well, buddy, are you over there?
I am here, sir.
Well, you're going to be at Lunch Bunch, and you're bringing some guests.
Well, I wasn't sure if my mom was going to actually be able to make it over since she has work, but my grandma and I will actually be over to Lunch Bunch.
We are looking forward. I haven't seen you for so long, I forgot what you look like, so introduce yourself.
I will definitely do that. I've kind of came to the same conclusion for you as well, because I forgot what your facial hair and everything looks like.
Well, my facial hair looks like. There you go. I love that. He said he couldn't remember what my facial hair looked like, Deanne. Well, it's gray. There. Are you satisfied? Okay. Hey, listen, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you could put on some records or some patriotic music, whatever you want to play. I am going to jump in my four-wheeled Wonder and then very carefully dodge the potholes that'll swallow an elephant out there on Highway 30, and I'll see you at Lunch Bunch, okay?
Sounds good. I actually got about 10 minutes of songs already put in for you, but I can actually add another one if you need me to, or we'll keep it at the 10 minutes.
I just want to tell everybody to be safe out there. Drive carefully with these very, very bad roads, and enjoy the weekend. We'll be back here next Monday at 8:06 Zebeth Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. Be careful. God bless. We'll see you next Monday. Wheels, take it away.